So the UP elections are moving towards a close with just 2 phases remaining. On March 3, we'll have the 6th phase of polling in UP, in which 57 constituencies spread over 10 districts will go to polls. This is one of the most backward regions of UP. I am Rakesh Mohan Chaturvedi from the Economic Times, and today we will discuss the 6th phase of polling in UP. This is one of the most backward regions after Bundelkhand. Eastern UP is considered the most backward part of Uttar Pradesh. And this region sees a lot of migration to Punjab, Haryana, Gujarat, Maharashtra and other states where people go in search of jobs. Many of them have come back. There was reverse migration during COVID and they have lost jobs. So that may be a factor here, because this is where the free food grains that are being given by the Narendra Modi government may have mitigated their pain, and in days when they are unemployed, they also expect that they will be given jobs, that they'll go back to their work, because food grains may not be enough to sustain them for a long time. There's also this rumor that rather the center will stop the food grain distribution after March 31. So whether the food grain distribution policy of the center along with the state will convince these voters to vote for the BJP, or whether unemployment and high inflation will play a role, is something to look out for. East UP is also a region where caste plays a very significant role when it comes to polling. And there are 2 factors that one can look at. One is the Thakur-Brahmin rivalry, which is quite prominent in East UP. And since Yogi Adityanath is a Thakur and he has been accused of favoring his caste in transfers, postings, and in other ways, this has to some extent antagonized the Brahmins. So we'll have to see whether the Brahmin-Thakur rivalry will affect the fortunes of BJP. Other caste combination that one has to look at is the OBC vote, where the non-Yadav OBCs had gone to the BJP, but the Samajwadi Party has now tried to make inroads here and has weaned away some of the support base. So this is also a belt where Swami Prasad Maurya, who was with the BJP, has now gone to the Samajwadi Party. Again, Dara Singh Chauhan, who is from the Nonia caste, has left the BJP and is now in the opposition. So these 2 castes play a significant role here. The Kurmi voters again play a significant role in some sections, and this is also divided between the Samajwadi Party and the BJP. Then you have the Rajbhar votes, and O.P. Rajbhar of SBSP has moved out of the NDA, and his caste votes are again being divided because the BJP has tried to woo several Rajbhar leaders to its side. In Gorakhpur, Yogi Adityanath himself is contesting from the Gorakhpur Sadar seat, and of course he will win by a big margin. Then you have Vinay Tiwari from the Samajwadi Party is contesting from the Chilupar seat. If you Swami Prasad Maurya is contesting from the Fazil Nagar seat in Kushinagar. He has left Padrona, which was his pocket borough. And that is another interesting contest. Ambedkar Nagar has some very interesting contest, because here this is the BSP stronghold, and Mayawati had carved out this district from Faizabad. In Ambedkar Nagar, 3 prominent BSP leaders have moved to the Samajwadi Party, and they are fighting these elections. Lalji Verma is contesting from the Katehari seat, and Ram Achal Rajbhar is contesting from the Akbarpur seat on a SP ticket. Then you have Rakesh Pandey contesting from the Jalalpur seat, and his son is the BSP MP Ritesh Pandey from the Ambedkar Nagar seat. So these three prominent BSP leaders moving to the Samajwadi Party have changed the face of the elections in this district. Then Balia has some very interesting contests. BJP has moved its candidate, its sitting MLA Anand Shukla from the Balia Sadar seat to Baria. He's a minister, but then there was anti-incumbency against him. But BJP did not want to antagonize the Brahmin votes, so he's been fielded from another seat. Baria has also seen a rebellion because Surinder Singh who was a sitting MLA, has rebelled against the BJP and he's contesting as an independent. Then from the Balia Sadar seat, Anand Shukla has been replaced by Daya Shankar Singh, whose wife Swati Singh was a minister, and he was vying for this Sarojini Nagar seat in Lucknow. Again in Balia district, you have Ram Govind Chaudhary of the Samajwadi Party contesting the Basdi seat, and he was the leader of the opposition in the outgoing assembly. Again in Devariya, you have Surya Pratap Sai, the agriculture minister, contesting from Patthar Deva. And from Devariya Sadar seat, you have Shalabh Mani Tripathi, a former journalist who was a spokesperson. He's in the fray. Low voter turnout is one issue that is worrying the BJP. The general perception in politics is that if there is a high voter turnout, it shows anti-incumbency, though there is no scientific basis for that. But there is a view that the low voter turnout in the fifth phase has gone against the BJP, because the BJP core voters, say Brahmins and others who are said to be unhappy with the BJP but did not want to vote for the Samajwadi Party, stayed back and did not cast their vote. If this trend continues in the sixth phase, that would be a worry for the BJP. BSP has lost ground in almost all phases in this election, and some of its votes are going to the Samajwadi Party camp and some to the BJP. But the candidate selection of BSP is interesting, and in some seats it has made it a triangular contest between the Samajwadi Party, BJP and BSP, which may affect the outcome. So regional backwardness and caste will play a significant role in the sixth phase of polling, and this will have an impact on the BJP's fortunes, which had, the party had done extremely well in the 2017 elections. Samajwadi Party has been gaining ground, and whether this trend will continue in this phase is something to watch out for.